No, I told you the story about being in Tesco's, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
About the guy with the lanyard.
This guy, I walked up to this guy wearing one of my, I think it was hoodies or t-shirts or something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you right?" Like thinking that he'd know who I was. Like, who did I think I was? And he was like, "You know what I mean?" He was just like looking at the eggs, and I was just like, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, nice t-shirt." And he was like, "Thanks, mate." I was like, no, nice t-shirt. And then like had a lanyard in my pocket because at the time I was just like dishing them out like willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And I gave it to him, and he was looking at me like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Strange man.
And it was, I remember leaving, like paying for my stuff, leaving the shop, and just being like, "Jesus, Jack, go home, sit down, have a glass of water, and chill out."
You should have given a bit more context to him.
No, I couldn't. I walked up to him like the biggest big dick energy and left being like, "Who am I?"
Hello. Welcome back to the PMH podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a week. It's been literally a week.
Been
The
literally
last
a
time
week.
we did was on Friday. This should be coming out on Sunday, so happy Sunday to all of our viewers.
Yeah.
Everyone's
And welcome to Jack Peck, our first ever guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to Jack Peck.
this is actually podcast number 2 with Jack, but the first one got a bit
Got a bit out of hand.
Yeah, just got a bit silly. Just forgot we're being filmed.
we then realised it just was not appropriate to put out that podcast, so we've decided to come back to the drawing board with it and start again.
Yeah, one thing to mention is that, this reflects our business. This is a business podcast, ultimately.
Yeah.
And we went a bit off.
Yeah.
We went a bit.
We got half an hour of just chatting about random stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't tell you what we were talking
No,
about.
nothing wrong with that. I think just
We were sober as well. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was. Imagine if we had done it in the afternoon and we had beers.
Horrible.
Sometimes the coffee hits different.
I think Connor put something special in Jack's coffee last time.
I Irished it up. What can I say?
So when I said my granny's going to have to listen to this, I was like,
It is sunk
Yeah,
in.
that's
I was driving up to Newcastle thinking, Jesus, I hope they edit that pretty well because that's
And
not good.
I think we made the decision that there was no.
No, yeah. Jack, we've got 5 minutes left of clip that we can actually use.
Yeah.
It was more that if we were to put in the cuts, like it was just not going to make any sense.
Yeah. Now we've got more of a structure.
Yeah, we
Spent a
structured
couple
it.
of days thinking about this and what we could ask and getting the most out of Jack Peck, founder of Moments Labelling, Iron Man enthusiast, and
Ladies man.
ladies man.
Not ladies man at all.
You're a man of the water now, aren't you?
Yeah, just
Down the road.
love
Turned
swimming.
into a fish.
Yeah, I need to. But yeah.
We'll get into that.
So to start off with, as you're the founder of Moments Labelling, do you want to tell us a little bit about the start of Moments Labelling?
Yeah, so I'm here today basically because you guys have been massively involved in starting the website and the Instagram and stuff, and obviously with everything going on, I'm not sure if you're saying this now, but
Yeah.
you guys is yours now basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I gave it over to you guys because you guys would do. I mean, you did pretty much everything before. So it's
Basically, we're taking over Moments Labelling off of Jack after a year now. You've been in it.
yeah, roughly a year.
About a year. We're looking forward to kind of getting on with it, but we just
Honoured to take it on as well.
yeah, and the whole point of this podcast is just to kind of give you a bit of background into how Moments started and
What it is.
what's in store for the future from when PMH take it over.
Yeah, so I remember I got bored in lockdown, and I was like, it was when lockdown eased, and I went back up to Newcastle, and I was drinking a hell of a lot. And
As everyone was.
Yeah. And I remember just thinking like, and loads of people that I was with were really creative and intelligent and stuff. I remember just thinking like, there's something here, there's something I can do, and I wasn't really doing much in my life at the time, so I was like, and I don't like that. I really don't enjoy when you're sat doing fuck all. And I was thinking maybe if we use some of these people's like talents and put it on some form of clothing. And then the first clothing I ripped off a load of Slim Aaron's shirts. And I remember Slim Aaron's, the actual photographer, followed one of my friends, Evie, And then it was like, I was like, oh shit, this is not good. And I was like, I'm not sure I really want to bootleg t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
So then I approached Maisie, who made like the coolest t-shirt and then made the coolest Air Forces.
Yeah.
And just was like an awesome girl. And then kind of sold some originals clothes or whatever it is. And then did some work that I didn't put on the Instagram, but with like local companies that were sustainable companies, to do their like work clothing. So learned a lot doing it and really enjoyed it. But the problem is with now with everything going on is just don't have the time for it, and it's kind of sat dormant for a few months.
Yeah, you've got a very busy life, haven't you, at the moment?
Well,
We'll get into that later.
not as busy, but yeah. And I was sat hungover on the sofa, and I remember thinking you boys would do a lot better than I would. I thought you boys should step up.
Yeah, so it's kind of exciting for us. It's something that I know Brad and I have always wanted to do. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We were having a
fuck you, Quinn.
well, no offense, Quinn, but you're not exactly the most creative person in the world, and it comes from the creativity side more than the. Brad and I like clothes. You don't like clothes.
You guys are gonna have to buy me out.
I'm out.
Yeah, this is shit. No, I'm joking. Yeah, no, you are right.
Yeah, since we've started
Look,
doing.
Give you a bit of background to everyone else. We quite literally choose out Quinn's clothes for him now. It's got.
You're doing a terrible job
today. You've got the cross. You've got the cross between a financial director and a skater right now.
Well,
That's what it is.
Yeah,
That's Quinn.
You look like you own a startup, and technically you do.
yeah. Well, the thing is that when the money starts rolling in, just you watch the clothes are gonna be mad.
Are you wearing your Charlie Sheen shirt again?
Yeah.
No. It's a Friday. What better day?
Shit shirt Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Yeah,
I'm done picking on Quinn now.
Yeah. God, let's not even start on Connor.
But no, like I remember because I did your clothes, and I remember
I bet you're both wearing.
I
No.
literally picked it out this morning.
Nice.
Being like, oh, I'm going to see them, so I better wear that. But I did your clothes, and I remember thinking, oh, you guys, because I mean, let's be honest, you guys made my website, and you two particularly, like, you know that I'm about as creative as a spoon, and I'm about as technically blessed as a, I don't know,
65-year-old man.
yeah, 65-year-old man.
But
so
you've got
really,
the gift of the gab.
Yeah.
well, I've lost it as well. so you guys basically did everything. And I was like, as we were joking about the other day, it's like I used to turn up here and be like, Brad, Connor, make me a coffee. Brad, do this. Connor, do this. And then in like an hour's time, I used to leave, and then leave a t-shirt on the side and be like, cheers, boys.
But to be fair, I think one of the most important aspects of a business is going out and finding the work.
Yeah.
Obviously, Connor and Brad, they did a fair amount of the work itself.
Yeah.
But especially in the industry that Moments Labeling is in, actually organizing things is probably one of the most time-consuming tasks, and also it's the hardest one to keep the motivation up.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that I stopped. Like, there was a point every summer I loved it, and it was like every day I'd be on my laptop doing stuff and be talking to people. But it's like we were just talking about the Booby Buckets guy, the guy that makes the bucket hats and stuff. I have so much respect for those guys because they're just smashing it.
Time, yeah.
They're just smashing it, and I don't know, like I don't know how they do it, but they just smash it, and they're doing really well. And I hope that obviously I'm gonna carry on helping as much as I can, but I hope that happens with you guys with Moments Labeling and stuff. And I know you guys have got some big plans for it, so it's quite exciting.
It's a hard industry to go into, though. You know, clothing, it's so competitive, and everyone, I think, especially now, you see it in our age group, we're always looking for something different. We don't want to be going to the high street anymore.
That's where the Booby Buckets. So to just give some context, there's someone that Jack knows through a friend, or
one of my best mates did some work with him, and then that's how I knew about it. But also, he's worked with loads of people that are also on my feed and stuff. So.
It's quite niche. But
there's loads of those, so it's like it's not really an industry like what Connor was saying. I don't really think like starting a little clothing thing isn't really an industry. I think it's just like 9 times out of 10, your friends will want to buy the stuff because they're your friends. But the cool thing is and what I started seeing is when people I didn't know from Adam, had no clue who they were, started buying my clothes, and like, I was getting on the website you guys set up a send in a question thing, and I had a message being like, when is the beige bucket? When are the beige dad caps coming back in from someone I didn't? And then I had a few of those being like, when are the grey hoodies coming back in?
Cool,
and you had no idea who they were, and you're like, this is sick. And then I ended up selling probably just over 100 hoodies or something. And you're like, well, I don't have 100 friends to sell hoodies to. And you're selling clothes to people that you don't know. and it was and
it's kind of breaking that. And I mean, we've talked about it before. Like, you have that your initial kind of launch and that market of like your close friends and then their close friends.
Yeah,
and then you kind of start to stagnate and you reach this kind of natural point where it's like, right, I've now got to choose to either push on with it and try and grow it into like actually building an audience, or
that's what you guys are going to do. You have to do.
Well, you've done the hard yards.
Well, no, but so the coolest thing was at the start people were buying clothes because they're my friends, and then Maisie came in, and Maisie's like the coolest girl in the world. Then we did the thing with Kim, and that was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Kim and Maisie, that was really cool, and their backup was cool, and that obviously helped grow everything. But the best thing was I was sending stuff to Holland, and it was like someone in Holland saw the hoodie, bought a hoodie, didn't buy any other clothes, and had no affiliation to anyone that I'd worked with or any of my friends. And I was just like, how, like, apparently I messaged them after, because in the seller you put your at. Just be like, this is so cool, thanks so much, just wondering how you saw it. And they were like, it came off my Instagram Explore page. And you're just like, sick.
That's the beauty of Instagram. I think that's what Instagram's got.
And over the 6 months I probably sold over 100 hoodies, and the coolest thing was like making the originals line, like the hoodies and stuff, because that gave me some money, like some capital to do the things like do the bucket hats and stuff, and take risks and chances.
What was your initial input finance wise?
Well, it wasn't. So I did a pre-order. So it's like it
didn't cost you anything.
So I remember I made it I made some t-shirt designs, put them out, did a pre-order, and took money from people, and then knew that I was going to make X off each t-shirt. Had the money already, so it was quite a big risk, and then sent the order for the t-shirt. T-shirts came in, sent the t-shirts out, so I never went into my own money.
The turnover was pretty quick with the t-shirts. So
turnover was like a week, and everyone had a message saying, I sold it to like, I think the first round of drop as such was like 24 t-shirts or something. And then obviously for the first, but like no one had any evidence it was going to do anything.
Not big,
and then, but there was strangers that I didn't know. So it was like one guy called George that I was talking to throughout the whole thing, because like the fact that this stranger had sent me his money for this t-shirt, and then
weird,
you're just like, sweet, you're like, this is cool.
We had not too long ago, probably about 3 weeks ago now, we were at the skate park, Mcconaughey. And some dudes, we started talking to some guy, and then he ended up buying a hoodie off of us. And then like 3 days later, I went back, and I can just see him there, just kind of skating in the hoodie, and I was like, "That's."
Well, even though he was like, "I wrote your hoodie. Like, where's that from?" And we were like, "It's like it's our businesses." And he was like, "Oh, great. How much are they?" We were like, 30 quid. And he was like, 25. We were like, "Deal."
No, I told you the story about being in Tesco's, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. About the guy with the lanyard.
This guy, I walked up to this guy wearing one of my, I think it was hoodies or t-shirts or something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right," like thinking that he'd know who I was. Like, who did I think I was? And he was like, "You know what, mate?" He was just like looking at the eggs, and I was just like, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, nice t-shirt." And he was like, "Thanks, mate." I was like, no, nice t-shirt. And then like had a lanyard in my pocket, because at the time I was just like dishing them out like willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And I gave it to him, and he was looking at me like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Strange man.
And it was, I remember leaving, like paying for my stuff, leaving the shop, and just being like, "Jesus, Jack, go home, sit down, have a glass of water, and chill out."
You should have given a bit more context to him.
No, I couldn't. I walked up to him like the biggest big dick energy, and left being like, "Who am I?"
He's got rejected by a girl.
You're gonna have these 5 seconds of fame.
It wasn't 5 seconds of fame. It was like,
all in there.
It was like, oh yeah, right, go home.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still cool that that happened.
No, it wasn't. I was with my housemate. My housemate was like, "You're a gimp, mate. Go home."
That guy would have gone home to his housemate and be like, some weird bloke.
Get a lanyard.
He was like, do I just bin it?
Yeah. Anyway, but no, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do, and obviously we've got a little group chat now, so
yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Hopefully, it's also kind of just, although we've already got a hell of a lot on, it's
nice to have a little release. That's
something different. Yeah,
maybe if you take like, I don't know, an hour at lunch instead of 2 hours.
It's barely half an hour.
It's half an hour at the minute.
Yeah, it's you eat the food, get back upstairs, and crack on.
We've had a DOS few months though. Like we haven't really been doing.
Yeah, because you had a quiet like January, February, and now it seems busy.
Yeah, which is kind of like what we expected, and it happened last year and the year before now. Yeah. So it's not like, considering there was a pandemic as well, it's kind of, at least it's been similar for the last 3 years.
Yeah, we were at a point with January and February. We were kind of there, like, like there's no point going out looking for clients because we won't get clients right now. But the thing is, a lot of our clients put us on postpone and whatnot because they couldn't afford it, and we were there thinking, things will be fine. And then things started going on. We're like, shit, like, are things actually gonna be fine? But now things are right back to where it was.
Yeah, it's like you have this. I think we had it last week, didn't we? You have this moment of panic, and you're like, "Fuck, I've fucked up here. Yeah. I should have been working." And then you panic. You all freak out on each other. You have a chat. You chill out, and you're like, "Okay, actually, it's fine."
We've been doing this for a long time now. Yeah. I think we know what we're doing.
Last month we got our average income in, and then this month we're like slightly above average. We're going to get slightly more than average.
Yeah.
So things are on the way up, and we just got to continue that.
Is it so like
that?
Graph, Is it nice having Quinn here?
Like, yeah, it is. Luckily, I mean, the business has changed.
Should we talk about him like he's not here?
No.
Should we talk about him like he's not here?
What you've got to remember,
it was a terrible decision, and I wish we didn't.
From last year, from what you saw, Polar Media House.
So different.
It's a completely different business now.
Yeah, no, you can see in your office. Like, I used to walk into your office and there'll be like empty sandwich wrappers that I'd left from like 2 months ago.
I've not contributed towards that. Yeah. I'm probably the messiest one.
And now it's like you walk in, you feel like you're in an office.
Yeah, and I think that's the big difference has happened. Now we're kind of running it like a business, not like two mates.
Yeah,
and like
having the third person there sort of makes it like right now we've got.
It's when I used to come in and he used to bitch about you and you used to bitch about him. But you took it in turns to make my coffee.
Yeah. I've got them coming at both sides. Compared to Dick.
Like, he turned up late today.
Whoever's got the headphones in.
Yeah. It happens.
No, I'm joking. I'm actually joking. They don't bitch about each other. I was just,
We're harmonious.
Yeah.
No, we don't bitch. We just say it to our faces.
Yeah. I was going to say, this seems like, obviously you guys work pretty hard, but it does seem pretty
extremely hard.
Extremely hard. Sorry, cut that. You guys work extremely hard, but it does seem like good vibes overall.
It is. No, I think
obviously that there are times when conflict happens.
Yeah, working with your best mates.
But it's going to happen.
I can barely live with my family, let alone.
Well, yeah. But 99% of the time we get along, really well.
Splendidly.
Yeah. And then
it's only when shit hits the fan and it gets stressful. But that's business, isn't it?
Who's the captain of the ship when when shit hits the fan?
Creatively,
internally or externally?
No. So it's like when shit hits the fan, people either step back and go, "It's his fault," or some people step forward and go, "Yeah, it was me. Right, you do this, you do that." Who does that?
It kind of depends.
We all take responsibility. Like you have to.
It's cause it's not like with a big team where you can go right.
You're the big cheese and like you're looking.
And it's like we can all. It's you can't hide in a small business like you could in a big one. So it's like it's very much like who's fucked up. So it's easier to say, look, I fucked up. This is how
with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's more like how can we sort it, not.
How can you sort
it?
But it's also, I think since my arrival, things are a bit different. Like we all have our own ownership of our thing. So it's like, from a creative standpoint, both Connor and Brad, if something's not up to scratch, like they'll work to sort it out. Whereas if there's something fundamentally wrong with the business, like us, we had no sales. Yeah, what's going on?
No, I've just turned it off.
No, yeah. But so if something's wrong creatively, then Connor and Brad are on that and they'll sort it out. But if there's something fundamentally wrong with the model of the business, then that's something like I have to sort.
Yeah.
But it's all taking ownership.
But it's all changed in the last week.
Yeah, we've done a PMH restructure. Job titles have changed as well.
Big things. I haven't changed it on LinkedIn yet.
Do you have business cards yet?
No.
Business, they're pretty mandatory, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. To be fair, because obviously a lot of our sales and our clients is local, so a big area of where we need to branch out is local. So a good way of doing that would be actually making physical physical sales techniques, like walking around handing out leaflets and maybe even business cards. But we're looking forward to when these like networking events start opening up, because we're going to need to start attending them.
It's hard to at the minute to find.
You might have to shave when you go to those.
I know. The beard is just getting a bit.
Yeah.
No, look, it's the hair that's the real issue.
My friend cut my hair.
Really?
My friend
Looks
was,
alright.
I had to attend a funeral, and I was like, I've got to get a haircut because my hair was, like I looked like a shaggy dog.
And you can't really wear a hat.
And I can't wear a hat at a funeral. And my friend I was going home for the funeral, like, wear a hat. Yeah, but I was going home, and my hair was like right down. I could put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
And
did you?
Yeah, obviously. No, I didn't. And my friend was really quite drunk, and she turns to me and goes, "Oh, I'll cut your hair." And I don't know why. I was completely sober, and I just went, "Yeah, sounds like a great idea." And I just let her cut my hair, and then I realised when she just started, but she actually didn't do too bad a job.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look.
I'll tell you what, my girlfriend cut my hair, and it almost caused one of the biggest arguments we've ever had. She hated me for a day.
Yeah.
You hold no prisoners in an argument, so you'll just go at her.
Well, no, because I was saying stop being so stubborn and cut my hair how I want it.
That's not. That's not how you approach.
No, because it took so many times. Like I was like, "You're doing that wrong. You're doing that wrong. You're doing that wrong. Listen to me." And she was like, "I've got my way of doing things. Let me do it."
I think we shouldn't dwell, otherwise it's going to be King Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah, actually, let's keep to the script.
Yeah. No, this is where we went wrong last time.
We're trying to keep you on track this time.
Yeah.
It's extended to him.
Yeah, my bad.
Let's move on to Jack Peck himself.
Who is
the main man?
Jack Peck?
Who are you?
The Iron Man.
I'm not an Iron Man. Yeah, I've got a lot. I've got about 10 kilos to drop and a lot of fitness to find between now and.
Have you
manifesting it for you?
It's going to happen.
Speaking of that, of your Iron Man, while we're on to who is Jack Peck, what is your kind of training regime? Give the people
at the moment.
Yeah, give the people an insight, because you were telling us earlier, and it's pretty grueling.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, it's actually just started because the Ironman's 5 months away.
Yeah.
But like this time last year, there was the 7 marathons, which was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Are you cutting or bulking right now?
I'm not bulking. I've got to lose about a leg's worth of weight. But
So yesterday.
yeah, it's about 11 hours a week roughly. But it's not. It's like I quite enjoy it. Kind of.
That's not. I mean,
I think we got a goal to aim for. Like an Ironman's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
You got to swim 2.5 miles. You got to cycle 112 miles, and you got to run a marathon.
Is it in that order?
Yeah. And then also, so then you put a bit more pressure on because you say what time you want to do. So like I've said, I want to go sub 12 hours, but looking at the cycle route, which is obviously a large proportion, it's like 6 hours of the cycle. It's quite a hilly route, so I'm going to need to make a different aim on that.
Yeah.
But it's like for me, it's when I've got an aim for something, everything seems to fall into place. So it's like I even was like thinking, so for example, it took 4 days for us to organise for me to come in here because I knew that I had to do X amount of training this week and I had to write my diss, and I've got like 18,000 words to write next month or whatever in terms of assignments and stuff and my dissertation. And then it's like, I find that everything falls into place, but when I don't have an aim, everything else falls out.
That's kind of,
found that
that's,
as well.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like for us, like these last 2 weeks, we've been planning like non-stop
and having
and kind of putting goals in place, and all of a sudden things are like starting to kind of snowball almost.
Yeah.
And I think like it's so key, no matter what you're doing, whether it's sport, business,
anything,
university, planning and kind of knowing what you want to do when you want to do it.
Once you've got the goals, you're able to work down straight to the specifics and scheduling.
It's like I found this whole new part of the day. It's called the morning.
It's like, I'm a university student. I know,
but it's like no, but it's not even being. I normally wake up at, let's say I'm quite an early riser.
Yeah.
But now I'm just an uber early riser.
What time?
Like no, so no, but it would like, let's say if
10
I'm
o'clock.
It's
gone from 12 to 10.
But if I'm going swimming in the Thames, I'll leave at 6 or whatever. So it's like, and it's like things like that. So it's like doing the. So I decided, having not swum properly or ever really being coached to swim. Like I think I did one swimming gala when I was like 11, and then haven't swum.
Yeah.
I decided that the best way to learn to swim was to buy a wetsuit, goggles, because obviously all the pools are shut, and just hop in the Thames and just start swimming.
That's cold,
and
man.
it was 4 degrees outside of the Thames when I got in.
Minus 25.
And it's just you just get in. I came in from like I did it a K and I've got to do 4.5K.
Yeah.
Came
good for
in
recovery, though.
freezing.
See, I kayak, I kayak in the Thames a lot. I'm in a dry suit though, and it's still bad.
But it's not. It's like I turn it. So I swim up and I turn around when I can't feel my feet because the current obviously takes you back faster.
You just chill on the
That's
way
how
down.
that's how I work it out. Is I swim up and
Die.
when I can't feel my feet, I spin round.
Where are you swimming?
Cookham or Henley.
Cookham or Henley, yeah.
But I'm also
How was Henley stretch in the
Well,
morning?
the Henley stretch. What do you do? The rowing stretch? What 2.4?
well to do round stretch you got to do really really early because obviously all the boats and stuff.
Just because when I'm driving in at like 7:30, there's tons of boats already.
Yeah, so I'm
Leander are normally out by like 7 o'clock, aren't they?
But yeah, so it's just I quite like an early morning run. Me and my friend Sam, who works for an sports AI company, we like an early morning run. But I think when you've got to get in, no, Sam Hallett. Shout out Sam Hallett. But I think when you got to get in, like I've only just started. I've started properly training for about 3 weeks now, but now it's like started, so it's going to be the same for like the next 5 months.
But also, like now, I find when I'm starting to train, like the first 2 weeks, I'm kind of getting into it. The third week is when I really start to see like the change.
The thing that I've got to do is drop like literally the equivalent of an arm or a leg in weight. And I always do this a bit like a boxer would. Is that like when I don't have an aim, I will just pack on weight, and then when I've got an aim, so like Henley 2019, I got the leanest I've ever been. For the 7 marathons, I really leaned down and whatever. And it's like I can do that, but it's just I just become miserable.
Or do you turn into Tyson?
No, I just it's like mum just like
got tunnel vision.
Mum doesn't if I'm hungry. Mum knows so well, and like Fred knows well, and all my close friends know really well. I remember one of my friends last year, Amy, was just like, it was when I was sort of leaning down, saying she was like, we didn't really get in an argument, but it was getting touchy, and she was like, "Shut up and go eat some food."
See, that's
yes, I would do that.
That's something. So my girlfriend India and I, we're very similar. Like you, we both get hangry, and like we know each other. Like we can see it on our faces. Like she knows when to say to me, "You need to eat," and then it's the same to her. I'm like, "Right, we need to get food in us now," because like that's an argument waiting to happen.
Yeah, no, mine's. I just eat the same thing when I'm losing weight and I'm training. I just eat the same thing.
What's your diet at the moment?
Are you cutting out the carbs?
No. So because you can't, like I did 80 miles on the bike yesterday. So it's like you can't came off as well. So
to be fair, you can cut out like because potatoes they put the weight on. You could cut out the potatoes and still have like complex healthy carbs.
No, I eat the sip when I'm trying to lose weight, and what I'm on now is I just eat porridge for breakfast, some form of meat and veg for lunch, and some form of meat and veg for dinner. And then if you have any guilty pleasure, you have one of those oven pizzas.
Oh,
that's so good.
But you have to earn them. And then the one thing I do, and then I cut out like all the crap.
Yeah.
And then the one thing I don't stop is beer, because really, if you stop drinking, then
what's life?
What's the point?
Because you could see that the beer as well. I mean, look,
that's the worst thing.
Guinness.
Oh,
we all love a Guinness, but there is so many calories in Guinness.
Before any big thing I do, I have 2 Guinnesses the night before, and it's like you guys know Godwin.
Yeah.
We were doing the 100K, like 3 summers ago, and then we did 2 marathons a few summers ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, and then we've done quite a lot of long ultra marathons together. And the night before, I remember the night before one of them, we went. Usually it's 2 Guinnesses and dinner. Dinner's pretty boring because you want to make sure you're fine for the next day. One of them we ended up hadn't seen each other in a while, and we had 4 Guinnesses, and then which isn't a lot.
Crazy night.
No, but isn't a lot. But you wake up and you're like, fuck, we got to run 80K today, and you're there and you're just like, oh, what are we like?
That's the challenge of it, isn't it? Like,
anyway, yeah.
I remember, like, do you remember when we first started out, Polar Media House, we had this very big problem. Well, not a big problem. We used to go out the night before and probably drink a little bit too much. Do you remember when we went to, we did Comic-Con? And Henley the night before. And we drank a little bit too much.
That whole shoot was, everything that day was just a bit of a disaster.
But like for the first 6 big shoots we did, we would get plastered the night before, be hungover.
Because we were just stressed.
Well, we say it's just the night before. We were pretty much just getting plastered every night.
Well, because you see your friends at university in their first years going on Freshers Week, and we're like, oh.
Should we do that, us 3 in Henley?
Yeah. It's like you'd hit spoons up and you just get absolutely. I remember so the first shoot, big shoot we did was Comic-Con for Quinn's old company called Maze Theory, and we were filming.
Is that where all the guys dress up?
Yeah, and so we
It
were
was
40.
weird.
The 40-year-olds dress up like they're 7.
Yeah, so we were
Yeah.
filming for the
Yeah.
Doctor Who VR game.
Cool.
Anyway, we had bought this piece of equipment. It was a crane, which does basically these shots where you can go up and down or left. Anyway, they're really cool. But we bought this piece of equipment and it arrives the night before. We'd gone out into Henley, got absolutely plastered, and Quinn and I, Brad went to sleep because he was driving, and Quinn and I had to set
Obviously.
Leaving at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, Quinn and I had to set this thing up in Brad's kitchen at like 3 in the morning, trying to figure out how to fucking use
Wank
it.
it as well. I
Wank,
imagine.
and it was just like, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
I remember being so loud, and I was like, we can't wake up Brad's parents. Like, yeah.
But
the
I
worst
love
thing
the fact you started this podcast by saying that it needs to be professional because this reflects our business.
But yeah, this is
3 years
This is
ago.
3
Yeah,
years
right.
ago, and I think
We've learned.
yeah.
We've learned.
But the
This
worst
was-
thing about that shoot is also because my boss at the time he wanted us to interview people because it was a VR game. Like, so you get them in the VR headset, you record them playing, and then you interview them. It's like, how was it and whatnot. And then like you're trying to get them to be lively. Every single person was a huge introvert. You got some guy dressed as Doctor Who. You're like, how was it?
Good.
It was.
What's your favourite bit?
There's a reason
The
at
TARDIS.
Comic-Con.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
They were not looking into the camera as well, and I remember like a lot of them kind of like blink, and it's like
Mm.
they're kind of half looking at you. It's like they're scared. I know, and I know.
It is scary.
I
I
know
know
when
some
you put a
30-year-old and
camera
his
in front of
50-year-old
someone-
mum being there like, come on, you can answer. You
Yeah.
can answer. It's like
He
literally
lives,
a
he lives in the
stepmother's
basement rent free.
But,
Yeah.
but then you give them the video, and they're like, "Oh, the interviews aren't good." We're like, "But what do you want us to do?"
To
Like,
be fair, lads, you probably could have not got wankered the night before.
I don't think
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that wasn't the
But-
problem by them. But like some of the people were just like that you're interviewing at those sorts of
But the
things.
shoot
Because I called my
perfectly
I called
as
my
well.
boss like when we were there, and I said, Ian, I know you wanted interviews, but we're gonna have to do something else. Like we're gonna have to figure out a different way of doing this. They're all introverts, and he's like, buddy, you got to figure this out. You know, you got to warm them up. You got to. I was like, you don't think I'm trying? These people, I have no relation to these guys at all. I don't know what they're on about.
I remember one of them. He was like, "It's so cool to be able to be in the TARDIS," and we were just like,
It's just, I just wouldn't.
I was just like, I was so like,
That's just not my vibe.
No, because we
was
were
tough.
we were quite excited. We were like, oh my god, it's gonna be cool. There's all this stuff, and then you get there, it's just like, it's just a bunch of
No one
it's-
there was really happy either.
No,
They all looked pretty like standard.
Comic Con's
you get a weird
I
type.
thought that was America. I thought Comic-Con was only in America.
No, you got quite a few in England as well.
There's so many weird conventions that are only in America. Like,
Yeah.
we were.
I mean, the big one is
In
is America.
Yeah.
I saw the we were cycling like years ago, and we were in America and cycled down this thing, and there was the American National Barbecue Championships.
Wow.
And they turn up with their big
Big
like,
Barbies.
vans and buses and stuff, and they're all just there like barbecuing meat, and it's just like guys topless that have like bigger bellies than this sofa.
Yeah.
Probably
That's
all
a good-
having a beer while they're doing it.
I'd
Oh,
rate
yeah,
to go to
yeah,
that
yeah,
though.
yeah.
That
I
sounds like a brilliant
We
event.
were, and they're just giving out free meats. We're just there like, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. It's just like they're eating steak.
That
That sounds
like-
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, if it was in England, I'd definitely.
I went
Yeah.
to when I was in America. I was in Tennessee, and I went to like a proper a southern barbecue place. Like, I mean, like you open the door to this place. It's dark. It's dingy. There's just big old fat blokes.
There's a guy on a
They look like
banjo.
rednecks. Like, oh. And you almost like you know like those scenes in a movie where they open the bar door and then all of a sudden it goes silent and everyone turns around and looks.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And I remember my dad was wearing a blazer with like a jacket, like a proper blazer, and like a flowery shirt. and he's wearing like brown, like proper polished brown boots. You can see your face in them.
Mm.
And they all look like they've been working on the farm or
Yeah.
something. And they just look at us, goes dead silent. We're just like, right. And
This is a great.
we had
question.
arrived at like, this was at like 11 o'clock at night. We had just arrived. There was nowhere else open. So we were like, right, we've got to
This is
eat.
it.
Yeah.
we had that in
Amazing
Newcastle.
though. Amazing barbecue.
Apparently
Yeah.
it's different.
We
though.
had that in Newcastle. We were like down in the quay, and I think we were all dressed like in jackets and shirts. So it was
Mm.
like when the pubs opened up for like the 4 minutes they were open up in the winter, and we were walking back up from the quay to where we live in Jesmond,
Mm.
and it's like a half an hour walk. But we decided we're going to stop in every pub on the way home. We walk past this pub, and it's like a proper working man's pub. and we look like we've just been spat out by Henley Regatta.
The finest
we
Oxford grads.
we walk in, and just these blokes with, like face tattoos and stuff all turn around and look at us. But my mate, he's a bit like has no idea. Just walks up to the bar and goes like, 5 pints, please. And we're like, why did you order these beers? And we're literally all of us like trying to get, like we've had 10 pints ready, and we're all trying to get these beers down and get out before one of us gets stabbed.
Yeah, I mean, some of the pubs you go into,
it's a special place.
But sometimes the scariest people end up being
the nicest.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have all. But we walked in looking
scared.
But that's like when I went to Ascot. I think was it last year, the year before. It was like with Hannah Brown and all of that. Like.
Yeah,
and like we came back to Marlow after, and we went into the old brewery, and I'm in like a pale blue suit.
Yeah, that is not the
pink shirt on a Friday night, and everyone is just like. I couldn't have stuck out like a big.
Yeah, but you're cannon fodder. Like if anyone wants a scrap, you are cannon fodder.
I was just like, no, this is not the.
They probably know. He's been to Ascot. He's definitely way too drunk.
I was like, we'd started at 9 a.m. at Hannah's house, like raring to go on the bus. I was by that point. I think this was at midnight. I'm so far gone. I couldn't care less about anyone else.
Anyway, what's next?
Go back on track. A bit more about you. What are you doing at the moment apart from running your life away and swimming your life away?
Yeah, just trying to get this Ironman sorted. Got a job sorted for July, and then finishing up at Newcastle, mate.
What is this? Your graduate job?
Let's not talk about it too much. It's a recruitment.
You signed an NDA.
It's a recruitment firm in the city.
Nice.
I was looking for a grad job for ages, and it looks like a really cool company.
Have you? I know you were talking about house earlier. Have you sorted that yet?
No, but I've got to get a lot of stuff done before I start worrying about that.
To be fair,
I've got about 3 weeks off after uni until I started.
To be fair, there's a lot of people are moving out of the city at the minute, so you'll probably be a good time.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll all work out.
That's very true.
It's pretty impressive. You got your foot in the door with a grad job.
Well, I've got to sort myself out first.
There's I was talking to a few other mates, and they were like looking for grad jobs. They're struggling because a lot of these grad jobs aren't happening like they would normally.
Yeah. No, I was looking for loads. I looked through loads and had loads of ideas and stuff, and then this one came along, and it's like, you know, when something. Obviously, I've not even worked a day there, but I've done all the interviews and got the job, and it looks like it's going to fit really well, and I'm really excited for it.
Is it how long have you been given a time frame for how long it's going to last, or?
No, hopefully it lasts for ages. Cool. hopefully, you know.
I won't be having looking for a job in the next 6 months.
Yeah. No,
because I do know some of them only might last 6 months.
No, I think there's a provisional period, but yeah. No, well, we can talk about it a bit more when I've actually worked there.
Yeah, that's impressive. You've got a little 3-year, 5-year plan for the future?
No plan. No.
Right, that's a quick one.
No.
Next, any goals? Anything you really want to do?
Well, I want to
like fitness stuff.
Well, this is the Bloys and I want to row the Atlantic. That's something that is that's something, that's probably the next. I think that's like.
Is that the next one?
I was like thinking about it driving over here.
Do you want a documentary team?
Yeah, no. So basically,
awesome.
So there is actually a plan to this. It's like, first of all, obviously, I want to make loads of money and be really happy and have loads of really nice road bikes, and do a few Ironmans and sip some nice lagers. But we talked. I can't remember. We talked about this after 7 marathons, and again, like all good ideas, came up with it drunk, and we were like, so I was like, it's just so simple, Bloys. You need to, and our friend Bloys is an under-23 world rowing champion, and to give some context, he is a serious, like, he's I don't know a more dedicated athlete.
He's a machine.
He's crazy.
He is a machine.
His legs are humongous.
Yeah. His legs are like your torso. Like, size-wise.
No, I'm not even exaggerating.
But so we came up with this idea, like, drunk, when we first met up after the 7 marathons. I was like, so it's just so simple. I was like, you need to go to the Olympics. You need to win a gold medal. Easy.
The most simple.
And then we'll go to like the Discovery Channel or something. or something like Netflix. They're pretty forgiving. And we'll go for the attempt of the fastest 2-man row across the Atlantic. But like when you've had 8 pints, it's just we wrote on
the plan is so clear.
It's written on the back of a napkin as well somewhere. It's and then
you want to find that napkin, keep it.
Well, I've got a napkin from the double marathon I did with Matt. We wrote it after like 4 bottles of wine, and wrote it on the back of a napkin, and I've still got that. But yeah, so plan to do that, and it's something that it's like some drunken plans get chucked away. So to answer your question of the 5 to 10 year plan or whatever, some drunken plans get chucked away. I would love to keep that. I think that'd be so cool.
Do you know how long it would take?
The record at the moment is like 34 days.
Okay.
So, but it's like you said, and I think the only person,
what country did you start at?
Here.
How many hours a day?
It changes on the tide, but I know some people start like on the Isle of Wight. Some people start in Calais, and you can so you can end up either in like Miami or like the Caribbean, depending on the tide.
Yeah.
I mean, both pretty good destinations.
But the only person I'd want to do it with is Bloisey.
Well,
Because it's powerful.
You'd be like, Bloisey, mate, I just need an extra hour in bed. You'd be like, don't worry, I've got this rowing.
Yeah, no, good. I needed some cardio.
I need some extra training.
Do you have to take a month's worth of food with you then?
You must have a You must have a carry.
I think you get drop stuff. I've watched so many things on it. It's like, something where you actually make a plan and then you obsess over it.
Yeah. You get in the YouTube wormhole.
And it's like, I've been in YouTube wormholes and stuff like that. James Cracknell and Ben Fogle did it. And from what I think it's developed since then. And James Cracknell is a seriously cool bloke.
Yeah.
But I think it's developed since then. But what they used to do is just drop like parcels in the sea from a helicopter or something, and then you try and row up to it. But obviously you don't have much control of where you're going.
Yeah. What about
the only thing about that is because the Atlantic is huge.
Yeah.
Surely helicopters can't.
No, so they come off the back of ships and stuff. So it's
okay.
It's like I think you have to call it in. I don't know because I've not done it. I think you have to call it in a lot.
You would probably be supported by military.
I don't know, but there's basically they say if you
more than likely
most of the time they capsize.
Yeah,
and they say if you capsize, like you're on your own. But I think my problem is I think if we capsized, I think I'd just be like, right, that's me. I'm gonna die.
What's the body structure?
Yeah,
just swim down.
You're gonna have to do it. Hope you're right, boys.
Yeah, he's just like He's trying to swim to shore. Probably in the middle of the Atlantic, just trying to swim to shore.
He'd probably make it knowing him.
You'd get him to carry on your back.
You probably have to. Well, time of year is also going to be key, isn't it?
Well, I don't know enough about this yet, but yeah, when maybe when you go to the big time,
we'll fund it.
Yeah.
We'll fund it.
When you go to the big time,
sponsors.
You can be in a little jetty beside and
drinking.
Go on, Jack.
We get pissed every night.
Yeah. Do you want a beer? No.
Anything else you got?
You don't want 2 Guinness?
Yeah.
That's a lot of beer you got to take for a month.
Yeah.
There'll be half the cargo.
Yeah. So to sort of like finish up and wrap up, we'll hit you with some quick fire questions.
Exciting.
You weren't ready for this one, were you?
No.
We gave you a couple to think about, but we'll start with your favourite book and why.
This is
it doesn't have to be anything like dramatic.
My favourite book recently that I've read is the Matthew McConaughey Green Lights. But that's because I actually love him.
That's just come out.
Yeah. But another good one is The Almighty Dollar. That's one I read about. That's one I read in lockdown. It's I can't remember who it's by, but it basically follows it. If someone spends $1 in Walmart, the effect of that dollar around the world, and
that's quite cool.
And it's quite cool.
Matthew McConaughey started a YouTube channel. Have you checked it out?
Mate, I'm in love with him. Like,
yeah,
if I could be one
that
person,
Post Malone country thing was awesome.
Yeah,
his YouTube is so.
He's the reason I was trying to grow my hair.
He's doing what Will Smith did. You know, just get on YouTube and just people are going to listen to you.
But you know who it was? It was Rogan who told him to do that.
He does. Yeah? He does now, though. I think he's
Is he going to do a podcast?
He's overexposed.
Rogan tells everyone to do a podcast.
What do you think on YouTube? He's overexposed.
Like he's everywhere, mate.
Is he getting pushed to trending and like all that stuff?
Well, I think he's trying to sell more of his book, which is fair play. But
it's probably a publicity.
And also, there's nothing else to do. So I imagine he's one of those guys that can't not do stuff. So he's sitting at home being like, "Sign me up to that podcast."
Have you got his? Of all the people who've probably got it, have you got his whiskey?
No, I can't drink whiskey.
Even
just for the mantelpiece.
Even this, in Newcastle we've got a little bar. Yeah. It's got like 3 bottles of whiskey on that no one touches. Even
no one likes whiskey.
If I smell whiskey, I gag because of the amount of times I've been violently ill because of the amount of whiskey I've drunk.
I'm the same.
I turn into a swing. I start swinging when I have.
But you get aggressive.
Ridiculously aggressive.
That's the only times I've had issues like on nights out.
Yeah,
like with aggression is whiskey.
Yeah. If you're gonna get into a scrap, you have a quick whiskey.
Go wait.
It's the grain versus grape theory. It's like so some people can have grain, some people can have grape.
Yeah.
It works both. Some people get violent on wine. Some people get violent on vodka. Some people get violent on beer. Each person tends to have their thing.
Yeah, I just generally don't like spirits, but yeah.
Favorite movie and why, or favorite few movies?
I watched Limitless last night or the
So
night
good.
before, which
Such
was just,
good
I was just like,
film.
that's so
Such
good.
good
I'm a big Guy Ritchie fan, so Layer Cake, Snatch.
Yeah.
Did he do Snatch? Or, anyway, Layer Cake, Snatch,
Yeah.
and The Gentleman, big vibe.
The
Lock,
Gentleman.
Stock.
I need to watch
Gentleman
that.
was part of it was filmed just up there.
Yeah.
I need to watch The
I need
Gentleman.
I went
Very
up
good
there.
films.
I saw Mcconaughey up there.
The Vicar of Dibley was filmed up there, wasn't it?
And
Literally
Chitty
up
Bang
there.
Bang was
Damn.
filmed
Chitty
just up there.
Turbo.
on the-
Gosh,
That way.
that one.
you guys wanted to get on top of that. You could have got some form of role in that.
Brought him on the
That
film.
I remember the
No,
Vicar-
The Gentleman.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I
was gonna say.
remember. I went up to watch The Gentleman being filmed. I went.
Do you go, hi, I work for a media company. Can you...
No,
yeah,
you won't get anywhere.
Matthew,
near-
just jump on the podcast.
The new Star Wars series was filmed just down there. And
You know how you and me were trying to find where the thing is out towards Bourne End. I found it.
Yeah.
I saw the signs the other day.
right near Miles's house.
Yeah, I saw the signs and they were like no access.
Anyone listening to
film
this,
crew.
Miles knows where Miles' house is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Bourne End, Marlow.
What's his address?
Hair SL7.
First job.
I was concierge at Clifton House,
Oh,
where
nice. How'd you get that
where
from?
the infamous Meghan Markle stayed before the royal wedding.
No.
Were you there?
I
No.
wasn't there. No, I'd left by then, but I actually left the week after, the week before they started filming the Channel 4 documentary they did at Clifton House, which did really well. And
Gutting.
the kid that took my place was the star in the documentary, and I was like, right,
Oh, that's
That's
gutting.
annoying.
That's annoying.
Yeah,
You'll get a
but-
break, man.
Yeah,
He'll be
no.
bigger than him. What's he done since?
oh, I don't know.
Nothing.
He had curly hair as well, so you can't trust someone with curly hair. Not that I'm bitter. But no. So yeah, concierge at Clifton House.
Nice. Think that set you up for life now?
No, it has. It helped with like I then went and worked
Yeah.
in Ibiza at Nobi, and that helped with that, and it helped with.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I went to Clifton House. If you don't know what it is.
I was a beach deck boy in Nobi and Ibiza, mate.
Yeah.
Damn, how long did you do that for? I had no idea you did
Last like the summer before COVID.
that. Yeah, for how long? The whole
like-
summer, was it?
Yeah, like
Long as
July
Christmas.
to like Sep.
Damn. Was it good?
Impressive.
What did you really
It was
enjoy?
like seriously good.
Okay.
But it was the, like what you're saying of Clifton and Ibiza were like what you're saying of just getting drunk every night and then turning up to work, and then Clifton was fine.
Off-camera stories. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Clifton was fine because you can just stand behind a desk and
It's quiet.
yeah, and like you speak. Obviously, everyone speaks English. In Ibiza, not everyone speaks English, and you've got this pounding headache. You've had 3 hours sleep. You're running on like 4 coffees and Danish, and you're stood there. And also, you've got to look good because you're working at this place, Neighbour, and it's like, obviously they can't.
It's all about the
Brilliant.
image, yeah.
Yeah, so you're trying to look good, and you're trying to like look like what they want you to look like,
Mm.
and you're just there profusely sweating. People are talking to you in Spanish, which you don't speak,
Mm.
and you're just like, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Surprised speaking Spanish wasn't a requirement for the job.
Yeah,
Look good,
Yeah.
be able to drink, pour drinks.
Drink
Yeah,
copious amounts of
the
alcohol.
only thing I can do is drink. yeah, no. But that was yeah. They were class jobs.
What was your dream job as a kid?
Oh mate, I went through so many. I wanted to be a
Didn't
rugby. I wanted to be a rugby player, and I was never even that good at rugby. I've always liked like James Cracknell, and I always
Yeah.
wanted to do the things because they lived the dream life. Like they sit at home, do a bit of training, like live in a
Check.
nice house, and
Yeah.
then occasionally do crazy things.
Yeah.
Like I can at the moment.
You are doing
Yeah,
some
I do
crazy
that,
things.
but I just pay for it myself. Like if I
Yeah.
could find, if I could
Yeah,
find
you
a,
never know. Like you could get.
if I could
You
find
could
a
get
way,
paid to do it.
yeah, if I get paid to do it, that'd be the dream.
Yeah.
But no,
Sky's the limit.
I basically wanted to be my dad. Like you guys know my dad. My dad's like one of the
Yeah.
coolest guys in the world.
Yeah.
I think,
remember-
I think that's a good thing to do.
I remember wanted to be. I wanted like my dad wore a suit and tie to work every day. Worked really hard.
I think wearing a
did really
suit
well.
tie is sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he worked really hard, did really well, and I basically wanted to be like
Him.
as cringe as it sounds. I basically just wanted to be Richard Peck.
I think he'll be touched.
Yeah. He won't listen to this.
You could tell me that Dad had told him.
Also, he might listen to like the first 5 minutes, but then he'll be sat doing his thing, just like,
I'm bored now.
I don't listen to Jack again.
Gotta listen to him at dinner. So.
Not everyone likes podcasts though. Like my
No, he does. That's the most offensive thing of it.
Great. She doesn't like you.
So we've had from people our age, they're saying that the podcasts are good length and it could maybe even be longer. Both my parents and literally like everyone over, it seems over 40 is saying, guys, it should really be like 15, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't know what a podcast is.
I think so. It's like I think people our age use it for like I listen to them on a run or a long drive or something.
Yeah.
And also it's like I'm sure you're the same. I literally switch off.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll listen to some crap podcasts like Lash Banter's podcast, Archie Curzon's podcast, or like Jamie Lang's podcast. They're good podcasts, but they're just you can switch off and not even have an idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But then I also listen to like the High Performance podcast, or I listen to the best podcast. The best podcast. Have you heard Serial?
No.
So I was introduced to Serial in the 7 marathons. And I literally put a thing on the first day I listened to music. I listened to The Good, the Bad, the Rugby.
I was just about to say that.
And then the second day I listened to Jocko Willink. And he was just like, go harder. And you're just like, shut up, man.
It's too much.
And then I was talking to a few of my friends. I was like, do you have any good podcasts? And Serial does 2 really good series of dissecting a case, but it's like 8 hours long.
Wow.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool.
I'll send it to you guys, and it's like the best podcast I've listened to.
That does sound.
But
really
you can switch off, but still get it, and there's like
I think for me, like podcasts when I'm working are just great. Like, and I can kind of switch in and out of it. Like you know, you listen when you want to listen, you don't when you don't.
I think I'm like 70% podcasts, 30% music now.
I think I'm the other way around.
I only really listen to podcasts on my commute.
Yeah. I think podcasts are good because you can listen to audio books sometimes because it's like I never really sit down.
I do that too.
Never really sit down and read as much now because there's like I'll be reading at the moment. My dissertation is on the effect of COVID on retail, like consumerism, and I'll read like let's say I read 30 pages of something on that in a day. I don't want to sit down and read a book. Like my book's going to be something like about the almighty dark. I don't want to sit down and read a book. So if you listen to a podcast whilst on a run or whatever, then
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. Favorite subject in school? Secondary school.
Always liked sport. Hated maths. I liked history, but I was never that good at it.
That's the same as
exactly
me.
the same as me.
Yeah.
I loved history, and I was like, I'll do this GCSE, and then I was like,
I did it.
It was explain for me. Explain breaking down the questions of why something happened.
Yeah,
and it was
what the effect.
You know,
I know all the answers. I know what happened.
I did it
when
in scrape to B.
I had the same issue because I did history at GCSE. My biggest issue is that you can know the content, but all they mark you on is how you write that down.
Yeah.
It's not actually knowing it.
That's what you realize. Like when you do a degree, that is basically what you.
That's
do.
why I left my degree because I was just like, it doesn't matter how good you are at business, it's how good you are at essays.
I mentally left my degree about 2 years ago.
But you're literally just being graded on the essay.
No, but it's like so. I wrote an essay. My Christmas essays came back, and my essay that I handed in, I was like, this is trash. Came back like very bad points, but applied well. Came back really well, and then I handed in this essay. And you know when you're handing it in, you're like, this is golden.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I'd
be surprised if this is not published. Came back as the worst mark I've ever had at university.
That's exactly.
I was just like, I emailed I never email tutors or anything. I emailed the tutor just being like, in the nicest way possible, like, what the fuck? and then he was like, yeah, this is where you've gone wrong, and this, and I was like, there was spelling mistakes in this essay, and it got a first. So what are you doing? Like, and you sit there and you just cross. I remember like, but that's what I don't like about it, and that's what I think. As cringe as it sounds, I come out with all the cliches days like you can't judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree.
Yeah,
I think so many people come out. I know so many people, especially in COVID, that left Newcastle last year with a good 2-1 in a good degree, or like a first in a good degree, and they're now sat at home doing online courses in their parents' kitchen because they can't get a job. But and then also I know so many people that, like, one of my best mates, Harry. He's not. He won't listen to this, but if he is listening to this, he's not my best mate. One of my acquaintances, like he won't be offended for me saying like he is not academically blessed. He's at Newcastle, wasn't doing that well, and then dropped out to start this hot tub company. And
when did he drop out? First year or second year?
Second. Well, no, he's deferring it yet. He hasn't
Oh,
officially dropped out.
fair,
But
yeah.
He's killing it
won't-
now,
Yeah, I
though.
won't get into too much routine. But he's like, he started Chop Shop, which I'm sure everyone that listens to this will see.
Yeah.
And if you haven't, look up Chop Shop and like Harry's Hot Tubs. It's doing really well. And like the boy works.
He's just
like,
got that business.
he works like
mind.
25 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like if I text him, there's like a 2 to 3 day working day reply, and it's like but it's class. And
You're
it's
just on
good
the
to
list. The message comes through and he's on the list
see.
for Thursday.
I think he just tries to avoid it. No, I'm joking. No, he's
Some
class.
people are like, for me, I was shit at school. Never did very well. I did all right in my A levels.
I concur on that point.
Like I did fine in my A levels because I did photography and art and business. Like I smashed that. I got A stars. But it was like GCSEs shit. For me, I feel really comfortable now though running a business. Like I can do that.
Found the area.
Well, the education system only benefits one type of learner, and
But it hasn't. The system hasn't changed.
no,
in
it's
100 years.
it's really outdated, and the content we're learning as well is also
I also
outdated.
think like none of you guys went to uni. I think too many people go to uni now.
Same.
Yeah,
we
it's
said
like
this.
I'm.
We literally even said.
I love Newcastle, and I love the fact that
the
I went.
place. Or the,
I love Newcastle. I love the uni. I
Mm.
love the fact that, like, I wouldn't change anything about what I did. The only thing I would change is I potentially wouldn't have done the degree I did because I just don't like. I know I have some of my friends that are doing medicine or whatever that just like my old housemate last year that's still a good friend of mine, TJ, is doing medicine. Every day he got up and just like couldn't wait to get after his medicine degree, and like he was just so excited. And
It's the real passion,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like I wake up and I'm just like, oh, I've got to do that. And I think that's like to go back to like, what do you want to do in the future? Like, I want to find a job that like you guys have that with Pony Media House. Like, if I can find a job that I'm like, yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
It's not like for us. It's not a job. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's like
God, we're on the cliche today, boys.
Gandhi is coming out to play.
let's just catch that one and keep that one.
as much as that is a cliche,
It's so
it's
true.
so true. And I've always heard people have always said it to me, and they're like, "Oh, my job isn't a job; it's a lifestyle." And I think
Yeah.
but it's when I think about it and break it down, it actually is.
Well, it's one of those things where I think if you're working 9 till 5, you're waiting till 5 o'clock, and then you just don't want to think about work at all. But
Yeah.
like we're all quite happy actually. Just when we see something that relates to the business, like we've always kind of got it in mind.
It's always 20% on in the background. Like
But like
Yeah,
you
if you
don't
can-
switch off.
if you can find something, it's like what we're saying with like James Cracknell and Ben Fogle. That's not the thing that is I'm not going to do that. That's
Yeah.
whatever. But like for me, that would be class.
Yeah.
But if I can find a job that involves being paid well, that I actually just really
Enjoy.
like, that probably involves people, then
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I know.
then hopefully that's the job that I'm going to walk into.
I've got another cracking one. It was the do what you make your job something you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
yeah. Something
It's like that is something that
Tell you what, boys, we're
We're crossing them all off.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that fish one.
Yeah.
Judge
We-
fish
we
by
should-
how it can climb.
We should probably like go on to the next one, like the sports ones. Like, so proud of the boys out there today. Like, it was a game of two hearts.
yeah. He started us in the first half.
yeah, but God, did
Have
he
you
come
ever
back.
seen the like sketches on like the internet? It's like if girls did post-match interviews after a night out.
Oh yeah, it's so funny.
Hilarious. Like it's like yeah, girls turned up tonight. Becky was a little bit late, but she got back on it, smashed a few bodies, gave a guy head in the toilets.
Back to the question.
This is where we went wrong last time. Stop.
Who or what was your biggest teacher in life?
My dad.
Yeah.
My Richard and Hillary. Both my dad and my mum. They're class.
Same answers for us.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Richard and Hillary for us.
That's part of my
My
life.
parents. Yeah.
The 6 months I've known Jack's dad.
Life
The
changing.
luck has gone up. What was the best piece of advice you were given? Well, the most recent.
Don't judge a fish on how well it
Yeah,
can
yeah.
fly.
Don't judge. Best piece of advice. Yeah, don't judge it. No, I don't know, mate. Advice.
Don't judge a book by its cover. That's another.
No,
good
because
one.
I judge.
what piece of
I
advice-
judge everyone. First.
What piece of advice would you give to
Your boys' piece of advice.
My piece of advice.
Keep on kicking.
Just be in the mindset. Things.
as long as you're breathing, you win.
Things always. I just think go with the mindset that things always work out.
Yeah.
What did
I
you
don't
say?
know,
Sorry, I
I think
didn't
it's
hear.
keep on kicking.
I think
Yeah.
no matter as hard as times get, there is
Yeah, just
You
things.
will get out of it.
things
God,
always
guys,
work
the
out.
cliches.
Right, boys, can we
Fucking
stop this?
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I don't know. I got one. I can't even remember who told me this, but it's like a quote
Painful.
of just get after it. And it's like just if you want to do something, you want to get it done.
Yeah,
Well, that's what my
Just
parents.
get
It's not
on
how
with
hard you
it.
hit, it's about how hard you
It's
get
probably
it.
it's probably a Richard Peck quote as well.
Yeah.
Jesus, I need to stop bigging up my dad. I hope he
You
doesn't
are
listen
your
to this.
dad. You are going to turn into
I
your
think
dad.
a lot of it is like, I mean, for me, my parents' advice with like business has just been like, you just got to keep at it; it will come. And like,
Nothing's going to happen if you don't do it.
when you think it's time to quit, all of a sudden that's when it starts to kind of come back in. You're like, actually, no, I should keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, get comfortable in the uncomfortable.
Oh, love that.
That's enough.
On that note,
Yeah,
this
well,
has
we
been-
got a couple more. Well, mine would have just been just do everything you can. Just dip your toes in anything you want.
get after it.
Um,
Apart from really hard drugs. Yeah, don't dip your toes
yeah,
in
there's
it.
a list of things that
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
don't dip your toes into. If someone were to play you in a movie, who would it be?
Like I'd love to
Matthew
say Matthew
McConaughey.
McConaughey, but really it's probably Fat Jesus, Zach Galifianakis from The Hangover. But
I think
no. When I'm not training for something, it's Zach Galifianakis.
And
And,
then-
when I am training for
Yeah.
something,
McConaughey.
it's probably like a slimmer version of Zach Galifianakis. No, it's
Zac
no.
Efron.
No, I love
Leo maybe.
No,
With the
mate,
hair.
they're just so
Leo's
much
a
cooler
little,
than me.
a little bit old now.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he's put on a bit of weight, so.
Who would play? Yeah. Who would play you boys?
See, I'd love to say Bradley Cooper because he's like my man. I
Limitless,
know
yeah.
I look nothing like him. Like,
I have no idea who might be.
I don't know.
who looks like me?
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
trying to
could
do.
think of. I don't know. You probably.
You did, what's the guy from The Social Network?
Oh, yeah.
Will Poulter, the Queen.
Yeah, probably.
Well, Paul, who's
Yeah,
that?
the guy from
Yeah.
We're the Millers and from
He
Black
kind of looks
Mirror.
like the.
Yes.
Not the weird eyebrow kid. Yeah, the weird. I do not look like the weird eyebrow
if
kid.
he goes
he
5
looks like the
inches.
kid in Toy Story. You know the bad neighbor. That's
Oh,
exactly who he looks
God,
like.
yeah,
You
he
know
does.
Prince Charming from Shrek.
Him or Shrek.
Yeah, that animated character.
I don't
No, I don't know. I'd love to say Matthew. Let's just say Matthew McConaughey because it's
That's
just.
a perfect.
Brad,
answer.
who for you? I'm thinking like
Don't know, man.
oh, what's his name? What's his
Well,
name?
Zach Galifianakis can't play me and Brad. so-
What's the dude from Grown Ups?
No, oh,
Ashton Kutcher.
no.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher.
Guy from Grown
I'll
Ups.
take Ryan
No.
Gosling.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd, yeah, it is Paul Rudd, isn't
Yeah.
it? In Grown Ups.
Yeah,
Paul Rudd is so funny.
I love Paul Rudd. Yeah,
Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Chris
Paul Rudd.
Rock.
He can voice my animated
50 Cent.
character.
Yeah.
50 Cent.
Yeah.
I
I want
reckon
Michael
that-
Jordan.
The grind.
Oh mate, his The Last Dance.
I'll
Oh.
take The Rock.
Not seen
Ridiculous.
it.
The Rock. You haven't seen The Last Dance?
No.
Last time.
Grow up.
I've watched
Yeah.
Tiger King.
Sorry.
Oh yeah. Did you
You've not
watch
watched Tiger King?
No.
Yeah, I've watched Tiger King.
But that's when we were busy and everyone else had loads of free time. because of
No, I
COVID.
can only watch The Last Dance.
You guys were social distancing in the first lockdown
Yeah.
together.
No, we actually.
No, we didn't.
We're 2.5 months
Yeah, we went together for 2.5 months.
until May.
Jesus, you must have hated
We-
that. Dude,
we
we
were-
like FaceTime each other every day. Like, what are you having for
Literally.
breakfast?
We would just stay on FaceTime, put our AirPods in, not talk to each other, but they were
They're just there.
Yeah.
You two, so codependent.
Last thing. What are you most excited to do come June 21st? Or around that time when everything should be opening up?
Just get in the swimming pools, mate. No.
Get on the roads.
No, what I have really missed
What
is
people you want to see, places you want to go.
what I have really missed is sitting in a beer garden with like just good mates, having a few beers,
Yeah.
and just that.
Catching up.
I've
yeah.
missed. So like my dissertation's made on this, and it's like basically saying how people have missed experiences rather than like I don't know going to get their hair done.
Yeah.
The people have more missed the kind of
They've missed out on
seeing their
memories
friends
and
and
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So also just being able to
Yeah,
give
go
someone
on.
a hug
Yeah.
or
yeah.
shake a hand. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think we've ever felt like we can do anything we want. There's like a very small amount of things that we can do.
yeah.
I tell you what, I think it's really shown us how much we need to, not take how we've been taking our freedom for granted.
Yeah.
It's true.
And that
I
it's
think
weird to
people
have
can
your
be
life
scared.
taken away
Yeah.
and then
Like-
given back.
Like if I look at the I think our generation won't really care. Like the minute they can, they'll be hugging, kissing each other and stuff. And it's like, I think if you look at like your grandparents, your parents, or like older friends you have, in general, I think they're more scared to
live life.
I mean, like for me, like my granddad's in Ireland, and like my dad, I haven't seen my granddad in 2 years now, and like normally when I would have gone last year I didn't, and then it's been a while. Same for my dad. Like my dad wants to see his dad because he's getting quite old. Like that, it's things like that. Just being able to go to another country and see you with the rest.
But
of your
like even
family.
for this, like we've got all the windows open. Like I walked up here, this was set up, all the windows are open. We're COVID, like this is as clean COVID as you can get. We're all
did a
far away
COVID
from
test
each other.
before we started the
Yeah,
podcast.
so it's like there's just things like that, and I think people will get.
Normally, you would have just walked in this room.
Normally you'd walk in, big handshake, sit down for ages, sip a coffee, chat a load of shite,
Nothing.
and you walk in with a mask on and open all the doors and the windows, and you
get a jab up your nose and stuff like that.
Yeah, no one that sees this will like know the fact that we're freezing because everything's open.
Yeah.
It's we're starting to get used to it now because we've done this a few times for other photo shoots. But like, it is wiping down all the surfaces. It is putting far too
Which
much
is probably
hand sanitizer.
people should have
you
done
should
it
be
before.
doing, but it's just as soon as you get that into your routine.
I've even started washing my hands. Like,
Oh,
Jesus,
yeah,
like-
never before.
yeah, never before.
Oh, it's
like-
so dry.
Just wipe my ass and then
Get out
roll up my
there.
face.
Right, on that
thanks.
note, thanks for listening.
Next will be going.
We got to get on with work.
We do actually need to get on with work. But
Been really good.
thank you very much for
Thanks
coming on.
for having me,
as well.
guys. So
And we'll get Jack on probably again at some point.
yeah,
He's made his millions
After his
6
Iron
months.
Man.
yeah,
we'll
Post Iron Man, yeah.
post Iron Man.
Post
That'd be
Iron
good.
Man,
You can talk
oh.
about how horrible it was.
yeah. Don't do it. It's shit. I spent all my money on it.
It got me nowhere.
Do you reckon you'll be there like, oh, never again? 2 weeks later, be like planning.
No.
the next
Yeah,
The
you
thing is,
will.
the thing is,
Yeah,
it's
you
like to end on this is like I tell people. So it's like a year ago. Next week, so not Monday, the Monday after, is we started the 7 marathons,
Yeah.
and like I'm never as happy, or as like I'm like a pig in mud when you're doing it, but because there's nothing else going on in your life, like there's no like what you're saying, like the little arguments with your girlfriend or the little thing that you had to do. It's like it doesn't matter. All you're worrying about is like it's kind of like the simplistic as Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
It's like you're looking at your watch or your bike computer or whatever. You realize you need to work at this pace for this amount of hours, and you can make a calculation that let's say you weigh 88 kilos.
Move this
You
far.
can work out that this amount of watts is going to put you at this roughly, and then you just go, right, I need to switch onto that, and then everything else turns off, and you're like, sweet, this is good.
Alright, sounds like there's a lot of science behind it.
So that's
cool.
that's when you're happiest.
Very
Yeah,
impressive.
I would love it. And then also, you can't have an ego like me and not do things like this.
Yeah, are you doing anything for charity? Like, is it going towards a charity or
No,
anything?
because last year we raised so much money. You can only ask so many people for money,
Yeah.
and so I think this is very much more.
For you.
All right.
Which is, I think that's...
But no, well, thank you very much, guys, for having me on.
Yeah,
And,
no, it's been a
pleasure.
Thank you very much for listening.
And keep an eye out for Moments Later.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's
Big things
gonna
gonna
happen.
Thank you very much, guys. Follow us on all social media at Polar Media House, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Peace.
See ya.
Cheers.